Kia ora team. Solo missions. Solo missions, solo missions. That means going by yourself, or just you and your dog. I'm heading off on a solo mission tomorrow. It's a Friday afternoon. I'm going to try and head out for an early Saturday morning, one day mission all by myself. But I just thought I'd explain my take and my view on hunting by yourself, the pros and the cons, and then I'm going to show you the kit that I taken for just a quick day mission. So solo missions are, for me, are challenging because of the safety factor. The safety factor being, if I take a tumble while I'm out there, I've got no one else to come and assist me straight away, and obviously having to carry all the meat out. If I'm successful, I have to do it all by myself as well. So I'm going to cover off the gear, the kit, and the safety measures I put in place for heading out for a solo hunt. So the first thing I consider when heading out for a solo hunt is where I'm going to hunt. It needs to be an area that's not too aggressive, that I've generally hunted before, so I've got tracks already pre-cut and I can get to my shooting blind relatively safely and quickly, and if I do shoot a deer I can get over there the same way. So the location I'm picking for this one is a place I've visited plenty of times before. I know it like the back of my hand. Ooh, safety devices. The first one being, you've got to have a PLB, a personal locator beacon, if you're going to head out into the bush or into the outdoor environment by yourself. Don't forget to make sure that when you do purchase one of these, that it is registered, so that when it gets set off, it goes through to the emergency services and goes through to your emergency contacts that are part of your registration. Communications. Up where I'm hunting, a consideration's always got to be cell phone reception, and where I'm hunting I've got good cell phone reception. Navigation for location services. A big part of, for me, as I said before, is hunting in an area that I know like the back of my hand. But as a backup, I run my my Garmin Delta Tactics watch, has all the mapping, GPS mapping on it, and I also run topo maps on my cell phone as well. Righty, the kit that I take on a solo mission, probably start with the standard kit I take for every mission, which is the chest rig, the binos, the rangefinder, and then a backup knife and a fuffer pen in the back here. The MTN Recovery X. My pack, I'm running the Tatonka Prototype Modulus pack, which is a basic frame system. The benefits and bonuses of this pack is it's interchangeable. See on the side here I run a lot of small pouches in that, so when I do head over for recovery and I just take this with the meat shelf on it, I can load that up with other bits and pieces of equipment, save taking the satchel over. So that's my main frame that I use for my hunting, and all I do is load it up with different types of different size packs on the back. The pack I'll be taking on this mission is the 5510 pack, which basically just hooks onto the back of it and we're away laughing. Righty, pack contents. And I'll start off with gear that most of you guys won't carry, but because I'm a YouTuber and I film all my hunts, we'll look at my camera gear, which adds quite a bit of extra weight to my pack. My main long range camera is my Canon SX70. That's where I see all those big shots and the bullets curl and all that sort of stuff. So that has a case, has a couple extra batteries in with it. Obviously it comes with a dry bag as well. GoPros there actually. GoPros and all the cables, charging packs. This thing here, carbon fiber bipod with a Manfrotto fluid head on it, still heavy as hell. So that adds quite a bit of additional weight to my loadout. Food and eating out on the hunt. If it's going to be a bit cool and I think I'm going to be there a bit longer, I'm going to take my MSR cooker, probably throw a little dry meal in here. You'll have brews in here, muesli bars, so that'll be pretty much my food loadout. I'll also take some water in with me. There's generally a lot of water in where I hunt, so but that's just to get to the blind, make a brew while I'm sitting there watching and waiting for a deer to come out. Clothing and warm gears. So I'll start off with my outer layers. I always take my First Light storm type seat gear, which is a raincoat and a pair of leggings, because quite often when it's pissing down with rain or just cold, I'm sitting on the blind, and it's good to have a windproof, waterproof cover as well, so they're a must. My next layer is my corrugate guide jacket. Now I pretty much use this for walking in and doing all my recoveries. 4-way stretch, pretty deadly bloody jacket. My warmth layer is my First Light lightweight puffy jacket. Then I have a Klamath merino hoodie as well, merino beanie, merino buff, and some waterproof merino lined gloves as well. Extra bits and pieces I'll take on the hunt is a first aid kit. This is probably a bit big. It's loaded up with Cat 3 tourniquets and it, Celox, all this sort of stuff. Probably way too much for just a solo hunt, but it's their first aid kit I take when I'm with the boys because it's got a lot of extra gear in there, so I just can't be bothered breaking it. For shelter, I have the Rab Silk Top 1 Fly, just enough for maybe 2 guys, perfect for 1 guy. And also for my pack I run the Tatonka pack cover as well. Little bits and pieces I also run is recovery gloves. I have a whole satchel here full of stuff like my knife, my helium here with a sharpening, with a diamond stone. I have these little loops here which I use for hooking around the deer's leg and hanging them up on the trees and then boning them out. I have track marking tape, extra cordage. I run a Leatherman in here as well, just in case. I also don't go anywhere without my little handy silky saw, just to prep up a shooting blind, trim a few bits and pieces away, maybe cut the old, trim the old tree out the bush to hang the deer's legs up. So there you have it. That's my kit layout for a solo mission or a 1-day mission. Heading into the hills by your lonesome, and as well as my thoughts and around risk and safety while I'm out there as well. Gonna be an early one, so need to think about getting to bed early, getting up early, and mission on. Look at that time. Is that late evening or early morning? Well, it doesn't matter, because it's the time we're kickstarting this mission off. Get our gear loaded into the car, get me 4-legged mate all hooked up with a front seat, and get our 2.5-hour journey on the road. Now on every trip, I go through a range of thoughts and emotions as I'm driving, and it always starts with excitement and anticipation, maybe even a little bit of visualization of how many deer I'm going to see, where I'm going to see them, and how many I'm going to shoot. But it doesn't take long for this to give way to Mr. Anxiety and Mr. Panic. Panicking about, am I going to be the only one there? What's the weather going to do? Are there going to be any deer there? But I guess that's the excitement of it all. Just to wait and see, roll the dice, and see how things work out. It's not long before I hit the unsealed road and make my way up to the car park and start to get my gear squared away. Well, that's us. 4:15. We're the only fellas in the car park. Just saw one of the cockies must have come back from spotlighting or something. Weather's good for now. It's supposed to shit out at about 8 o'clock, so small window of opportunity. But anyway, I've got about an hour walk before we start getting into seeing some animals. So obviously it's got to be daylight first. But anyway, here we go. So as I headed off up track, I had the peace of mind knowing that I was the only one in the block, and I had choices of where I could set up to look for deer. Obviously, you can't see deer in the dark, so I made my way to a handy position and just on daylight, got set up and got ready to look for a deer. Just got into position and spotted a deer down in that basin, standing in the middle. Put the bino straight up. There's a deer right in the middle of the basin. You can't quite see it because it's a little bit dark, but
I'm going to wait for daylight and give it a nudge.
Damn way.
Now there's one thing I've noticed about the deer in this block, particularly this basin, is they don't hang around for daylight. They normally start to move towards the edges as daylight kicks around, and by the time the sun's up, they've disappeared up into the bush. And I was watching this stag, and he was displaying very similar behaviour. So I was just going to have to be patient and wait for the right shot to present itself, and hopefully send one downrange. So on review of the footage, I was pretty happy that it was a good solid hit as I watched the stag run off down into the creek. And the next part of the process is, you guessed it, recovery time. Right, it's recovery time. Yeah, so our deer is down there in the gully somewhere, in the creek somewhere. I looked at the footage, saw him hit, sort of wander off down into the creek and sort of stumbled around a bit in there, so by the time I get out, there'll be plenty of time for him to expire if he's got a lung hit on him or something like that. So it should be a couple of hours in light order. Mr. Modulus on, and the dog with no bloody ears. As we headed under canopy and started heading downhill, I was watching my little fox terrier Keys running around like a little dipstick. Then I just realised something. You're going to find this a bit hard to believe, but we find this deer. This will be Keys' first actual hunt, and hopefully dead deer at the end of it. I've taken her out a few times and we just haven't had much luck, so the change of fortunes today. Anyway, get down into this creek and up the other side. Up this way. Wait, come on. As I cruised through the big grassy basin, I decided to get a bit of elevation so I could look down into the creek to see if we can spot our stag. And sure enough, there he was. So just a young stag, pitching the angle, came in from the top of the shoulder and just exited there a bit low at the old puku just over there. But that's where we shot from. Right up there off the track by the arrow. So that was 430 meters, minus 19 degree decline. So hey, bloody dog, chewing on it. I'll cut you some off to eat in a minute, man. Yeah, so it looks like I'm gonna get as much as I can off this. I'll get back legs, front legs, back steaks. Better get the butchery. but that's gone in through the top of the shoulder and down through, basically come down through there and popped out Lepuku that way. That shoulder's pretty fucked, pretty munted, so she might be staying here. Yeah, that's jelly as. So we'll take the back steaks, two back legs and one front leg. Not bad, not bad.
With most of the meat recovered and put into the meat bag, it was time to get it onto that meat shelf on the modulus pack and get it strapped in and ready for a haul back up the hill. Before we head up that hill, having a creek nearby, handy opportunity to get some go-go juice, the old huntsmud in us before we headed away. All fueled up, time to get that pack on the back and start trudging back up towards the track.
That's us. Time to get back up there. Oh. Look at you, little savage. Get him. One happy little dog. Anyway, we're out of here. Time to repack the gears. So got the rifle, I got all my 55 10 litre full of camera gear, cooker and spare clothes, wet weather gear and all that sort of stuff, and then I'm just gonna bang her on the back of the old modulus frame. Oh, I gotta say, that's fucking heavy, really heavy. I'm thinking maybe I should have taken those bones out of those bloody legs. Anyway, I got about an hour walk out, and it's mostly downhill anyway, so it should be all good.
So I guesstimated my pack fully laden would have been around 45 to 50 kgs. And as I trundled down the track, overheating, I remembered I've got zips on the side of my First Light corrugate foundry pants to dump heat. So down they came. A little pause on a side creek to get my little collapsible cup out and rehydrate before making my way back to the car.
Here, out to the car. Whew. Rifle, frame, packed with gears. Yeah, a bin full of meat. The old dog's choking like anything. Oh, and all that hair, the fat pig went and guzzled down, so I'm trying to make her vomit before she gets in the car. She's only going to vomit in the car. But sum that trip up. Yeah, hope you sort of appreciated the beginning of the video with the gear breakdown in terms of, you know, hunting solo, and just a few little considerations about when you head out on your own, and I'm sort of mindful of where you're hunting, making sure it's not too bloody dangerous, you know. But anyway, that was my first velvet stag for the season, so hope you guys enjoyed that video. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll catch you on the next one.